Rebecca Helzel, Arch Community Housing Trust, and on the Board of Directors. We haven't had a conversation about community housing for a while, so I just wanted to go over a couple of items. First of all, affordable workforce housing is meant to be a permanent asset of the community. You don't, it's like a road or a sewer system, you know, it has a 50 to 100 year life. That's how communities and states around the country view it. According to a Fannie Mae study, for every dollar invested in affordable workforce housing, $8 is expected to be returned to the community from an economic basis over 15 years. Really good returns. This aspect of community housing, when you make your consideration, shouldn't be lost. Neither should the fact that the primary fact and function of community housing is to support your economy. And this is particularly important, and as well as the environment, but this is particularly important in resort-related communities where your competition for land, your land is restricted, and the competition for land is by people who come in with higher incomes from outside of the community. And you have a lot of part-time and tourist use of land, making it very hard for working people to compete. Our area median income is currently $74,800. At a recent national housing conference, I was speaking with someone from San Francisco, and she and I were both shocked to hear that our area median income was within $50 of each other. Now, I want to point out that the obvious before we move on, which is that we don't have the kind of economic diversity and high-paying jobs that San Francisco has available in their community. We have 30% of our economy is tourist-based, and 60% in the past has been construction, real estate, development related. That was an unsustainable percentage. We all know kind of that that's not going to be the case in the future. However, a lot of our high-paying jobs have been in those particular industries, and that's been where a lot of the job hits have been taken in this particular downturn. In addition to that, the number is skewed by passive income, retired people who come and bring their incomes here. And that distorts sort of the general job description. And the AMI, or area median income, is a really important number to keep in mind, and especially when BCHA starts to talk about where the demand comes from and where most of the jobs in our community lie relative to the AMI. So most of that. And then in 2006, one of the parts of the study that was done in the needs assessment was how many people commute from inside the county, or how many people commute from outside the county inside the county to work. And the number at that point was 2,600. Over 50% of our workforce was commuting outside the county. Well, it has two effects on Hailey. One is 65% of the jobs are north of you. So that means they get to come through here every day, and sometimes they might stop for a beer or lunch or something, but that group of people aren't spending money in our county anywhere. And of course, it's environmentally and pedestrian safety and every other way not exactly the best recipe for health in a community. Now, why I'm bringing this up during the discussion of the workforce restriction is will become clearer as all the information comes out. And you have the opportunity here, as you do many times, to add permanent economic assets to your community, and this is one of them. What workforce deed restriction units, or the workforce deed restriction generally, is talking about people over 100% AMI. That's what they're available to, and when we talk about the pricing, that's what you'll see. And I've already spoken to what the distribution of our workforce kind of looks like. And also to talk to you about, years ago when we first started talking about this, we've looked into every possible way of trying to get some things done here because we have unique challenges in our environment, not just that we're a resort community. And we went to all of the other mountain resort communities trying to figure out what works and what doesn't work. And Telluride and Aspen have this, and their experiences are they quickly rise out of the range of the workforce, 90% of the workforce. And the owners are unable to sell them frequently, and other workers cannot afford to buy them. So they start out high, they go to a higher level, and then they get stuck there. And Telluride the Telluride city manager is like, one of his worst moments in life was a nasty headline which says, affordable house sells for $1 million. And he said, this isn't the kind of thing you want to have happening in community. It's been pretty, you know, that's a big problem for them. Aspen, they say they're 90% of their administration and headaches arise from the workforce housing, which deed restriction was about 10% of their total deed restrictions. This is because no matter how many people, and I'm quoting their, he's now the mayor, but and he said that no matter how many papers you have them saying this is not a market rate house that you're just getting for a discount. This is like, it has a deed restriction on it. And people think that they get trapped in them frequently. That's not an uncommon thing because they, as I say, they rise to the top. And you'll find that most of our we have a much smaller percentage of our workforce at the higher end of the range. Not that we don't need some, but all of them. It's not a good idea. If you want to help an individual instead of helping the community over the long term, then usually the best tool that's considered nationally from a strategic standpoint is considered down payment assistance. It's not considered giving somebody you know, a discount on a house, and that's actually sort of considered more along the lines of a lottery ticket. Let's see if so I know it sounds, and I feel for developers going through difficulties right now, and I know that's a lot. There's a lot of pressure to make compromises, and what compromises you make or you don't make are fine. But this one you will live with for the next 50 years. And the community whose asset this is supposed to be is the one who will be left without an asset once you've done this. So I assume that when you make trade-offs on a PUD annexation, that you are looking for, you know, long-term contributions to your community, and I hope that you will look at your decision on this in the same way.